Great ID Live. We're going to see how it works. Because I try to do the Facebook Lives, and they don't quite seem to work as well. So we're going to give TikTok Live a try. Yes, we are. And I think I can save these videos. So, which is another huge incentive for me to do the TikTok Live. So we're going to see how it works. All right. Let me get these and we'll kind of get started. Okay, so what we're going to be doing is today is we're going to be working on crate, and we're kind of cheating a little bit because he's kind of been in the crate. So we're cheating a little bit. We're cheating just a little bit. Yeah, we're cheating. Okay. So on my YouTube channel, I have let me put these up high. Yeah. On my YouTube channel, I have a video where we talk about luring. So at this point, if I take food, and he's very food motivated, which makes things very, very easy, right? So I'm gonna take food, get him hooked on that hand, and we can practice kind of going back and forth. And, he's very food motivated. He is a working dog, or a working puppy from a working line. So he's very food motivated, and he's very happy to do things. So, and what I encourage everybody is, if you have a puppy that's not, this fast, that's okay. If you refer back to the episode about luring, or introductory to luring, on the YouTube channel, you're going to find that what I encourage people to do is that if you have a puppy that's a little bit slower, see, he's fast. He's super fast. He's fast. He's super fast. Right? And that's what we want. But don't be too upset if your puppy's slow to start, or, some breeds are not going to be that fast, and that's really okay. So you can take, kibble. Right now I have a mixture of hot dogs and some chicken and his kibble, and which is, like I said, he's food motivated. He's happy with whatever. But what I can do is what I wanted to get him to is this point where he can follow and kind of do a figure 8 into both hands. There you go. So you might find that with some puppies, or even dogs, you might have to load up and just continuously feed them to get them, to encourage them. And then you can slowly get them to that point where you are doing, you can just do 1 or 2. I'm kind of lucky with this guy because it's so fast. He's a fast boy. He's very fast. But with some puppies and dogs, we're talking primarily about puppies, but you can translate some of this into dogs, adults, older ones. But you want to start off with a lot and then kind of slowly wean off. But anyway, I refer back to that. So one of the reasons why I encourage people to teach their puppies luring is to start crate training. So crates are one of those things where they're very controversial within a lot of circles. I like them because they give my dogs, when I'm not with them, they give them a sense of security. And what I can do is I know that they're going to be safe. And as puppies, I do train them to go into it and to hang out in there safely. Pretty much as soon as they come home is one of the first things we work on. But if I have a puppy that's really struggling with going into a crate, I kind of start off with some crate games. So again, this goes back to the luring. So before I even start, I need to make sure I have my puppy's attention. I don't know. And then what we're going to be doing is, now that I have his attention, you might find that your puppies or your dog is going to be kind of slow. Most puppies, unfortunately, have not been conditioned to be in a crate. So sometimes it can be harder for them. So you can see he's a little hesitant. He hasn't been in this crate before. This is why I specifically have this crate here. It's new. It's different. There's always that potential it could be different. So basically what I'm doing the same figure eight luring technique, but now what I'm doing is I am putting it in. So he's having to actually go into the crate. All right. So now what I might do is I might start dropping it on the floor. Will he follow my hand to the floor? Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? It's crazy. Huh? Good boy. Good job. So he comes out. He gets rewarded for coming out. He gets rewarded for coming in. So depending on how my puppy feels, how I feel about it, we might do this. But ultimately what I want to do is I want to start putting more value onto the crate. So what that means is what I might start doing is I might take some kibble here with some treats and I actually might put them, kind of scatter them on the bottom. There you go. He's like, I'm not really interested in that. I love the hot dogs though, which is my fault. If I just had the kibble, he probably would stay in there and eat the kibble. But because I have some higher value stuff, he's like, I know what this is all about. I want it. Good boy. Oh, good job. So I look for that comfort level in my puppies. Because if they're stressed and they are not having a good time, I have to work a little harder. But most of it's a kind of a claustrophobic response, I find, because again, it'd be one thing if most puppies were conditioned to being in the crate or just being in a contained area, contained box, used to going through things. And unfortunately, I find that most puppies have not, unless your breeder has luckily worked on that. I know with my litter of puppies that I had, we went through, under, over, all kinds of stuff. Most puppies don't. And this guy's pretty bold and brazen. He's very happy, very excitable. He loves life. He loves working. He loves eating, and he loves trying to eat me. So, this is fine. So what would the next step be? So let's just say that I have my boy here and he's getting frustrated. He's actually getting frustrated with me because I'm not feeding him enough. So he's redirected biting me a little bit. Aren't you? You're frustrated. Are you frustrated? Oh yeah. Just in case anyone's wondering, he is a Malinois. So this, redirective biting, a little frustration. This is normal. This is normal. Okay. So the next thing I might do is I might put him in. I might get him used to closing the gate. And so he's not totally distraught about it just yet. I like that he's exploring. He's looking this one food bowl over here. So if I have a puppy that is that's not stressing, if he were crying and stressing and instantly panicking, I might wait a minute or two and then I might let him out. And I think it really depends on the train of thought that you have. So a lot of people are going to tell you that if your puppy is screaming and crying, you need to wait it out. And I mean, it really depends. So with him, what I have found to be true is he cries a little bit, but he settles down really, really fast. He does much better in his crate. His crate's covered. So when I put him in, I will go ahead and cover his crate with like a sheet. He does much better with that because seeing me walking around causes him a lot of angst. And so eliminating his view helps him calm down quite a bit. See, what I really like about this is actually sniffing around and exploring. That's really super cool. Yeah. So I'll go ahead and open this for him. Good boy. So, at this particular point, I'm not really worried about having him wait for me to open the door or anything. I'm just kind of, like I said, this is like conditioning. We're pretending he's never been in a crate before. That's what we're going to be pretending, yeah? That's what we're going to be pretending. So this association is supposed to be fun. And really, if you think about it, and what I encourage people to do, this is basically like if you've watched people condition their dogs on agility equipment, this is basically the same premise. It's getting him used to, oh, did you get it? He's like, no, I'm way too invested in your hand. That's my fault. I'm way too invested. You get Bubba. See it? Let's see if he can't sniff the rest of the pieces. There you go, buddy. So he's had, like I said, he's had a lot of practice with this. Don't be really too terribly surprised if your puppy is a little bit more upset about this and, is calling and is like, hey, like, I'm trapped, I'm frustrated. And a lot of that, if they are conditioned and they're not terrified to be in an enclosed space, a lot of what you're going to hear from your puppy is going to be frustration that they can't get to you from where they are, which is why I like to do a lot of what I will do at this particular point is I'll do some scatter feeding in the crate. So I've got some kibble in there. I'll let them kind of explore. I'm going to go ahead and close this. And I might actually, do I have it in this pocket? Did I not? Did I lose it already? Yeah, I think I lost already. That's silly of me. So another thing that I might do to kind of help them is I'm going to associate the crate with super cool food time. Whether or not he's crying or not, it doesn't matter to me right now. So I will generally do, like I said, I'll put some kibble in there. So if they're hungry, and if I'm feeding them, what I might do is I might go ahead and split their meal between them working, like training, and then I'll put the other half in. So they're actually having to go in their crates to eat. And like I said, most puppies, if they're conditioned correctly, are going to associate, oh, well, training's over and now I get to go in my crate and I get to eat. So it creates a very positive association. And that goes back to another episode on YouTube that I talked about, developing comfort in eating anywhere, which is a really underrated skill. So what I might do, another thing that I might provide for my puppies or my dogs, if they're having a hard time, is I'll provide something that is really high value, like a bully stick. I don't do rawhide chews or anything like that. I do like bully sticks, and the puppies, the dogs really like bully sticks. If you do give them to puppies, you have to be really careful. They're actually not recommended for puppies, I think, under 3 or 4 months. And it says so on most of the packets, so you just have to be very, very careful about that. But I would much rather them chew on, I'd much rather them chew on a bully stick than some of the other stuff that's out there. That's just my preference. I'm actually out of bully sticks, but we collectively this is deer meat that I actually helped harvest myself, and that we put in the dehydrator. So it gives them something to kind of chew on. So if I'm trying to get him to settle, and he's having a hard time settling, I might get into the habit of giving him like a little bit of a bully stick or one of these, letting him kind of chew while I walk away from him. And again, if you walk away from your puppy and you're hearing crying and a little bit, that's okay. The other important thing is not to leave your puppy in there for very long. So again, that goes back to what is the correct train of thought. So the old school, which, again, it's relevant in some ways, don't touch your puppy, don't let them out until they're done crying. If you have a puppy that incessantly cries, I would really encourage, if you get one more, I would really encourage to perhaps, use an external thing like a doorbell or something to announce that they're coming out. And it doesn't matter if they're crying or not, if it's dependent on them crying. Because the other thing, too, that I depend on with my dogs is if they really need to get out, they need to get out of their crate. Like if they really have to potty, if they have explosive diarrhea, I would rather them be comfortable letting me know that they have to go. So I'm not a huge, ginormous fan of shutting that down completely. What? What, baby? What is it? You looking for more? That's all you get. That's all you're gonna get. Well, I'm gonna see if he settles down or if he, we're gonna see what he does. But you want to be very careful about that. So if you have a puppy that's a huge talker, and I might go back with him, I might get a doorbell or a bell or something to announce when he's coming out, just to associate that noise with coming out, not my presence, not him screaming. So if you're really worried about that, that's something that I would recommend to do. With him, I'm really not worried about that because there's hope there. Either I'm going to let him out or I'm not going to let him out. Right? So he's, like I said, you can see he's pacing around, he's concerned, but he's not panicking yet. Are you panicking yet? Yeah. So I didn't wait for anything particular, because he wasn't doing the crying stuff or anything like that. You're just being 100% good boy. And I want to keep that hope installed, because if there's that hope there that he's going to come out and he doesn't feel trapped and he doesn't feel, secured away from things that are good for him and happy, he's going to have a much better time acclimating to the crate. You're going to have a much better time. And I know for some most high drive dogs, this is a hard thing. Which is, again, when I get puppies. Oh, good job, buddy. Yeah, all by yourself. Yeah, all by yourself. What's that? Some cookies? What kibbles? Kibbles and cookies? Ooh. You do it by yourself? Because I'd much rather you help me. I'd much rather you help me. Do I have anything good left in my pocket? I don't know that I do. I think it's all boring, kibble. It's all boring. It's all super boring, Papa. So, I do have something cool in there. Oh, I do have something cool. And so the next question would be like, well, what if I have my tiny grandkids that are toddlers, grandkids coming over? I need to manage my puppy. Well, you're going to take that time and manage. If you can't train, you're going to want to manage safely. So what I like to do, and this is where going back into teaching them luring really helps, because again, the luring helps with this and hand motion, but it also helps them getting used to getting close to your body. So what I don't like to do, if I'm having to pick up my puppy, I don't like them to be running away. And a lot of people miss that, because they're trying to, oh, my grandkids are here and I don't want them to harass my puppy and I gotta stick my puppy in the crate. Not the problem. That's a big problem. So, want my puppy to get up close and personal. Here you go. And not be in a panic, and I'm going to pick up my puppy. He moved away a little bit from me there. But that's actually much better than what you have been doing. He actually had a really hard time with me touching him. Reaching down and touching him. That was scary. That was scary. It's not so bad now. It's not so bad. Right? So if you can guarantee, and this is one of the things that goes into real life scenarios, if you can guarantee that your puppy's gonna go in when you have something in your hand, and you can lure them in and you can shut the door, that's cool. But there might be times where you have to go into management mode and you have to get used to your puppy, or your puppy has to get used to you managing him and putting him in and giving him the thing and closing the door. It's not a big deal. So what I encourage people to do with their puppies is do both things. Get them used to handling, get them used to management. Don't let it be an emergency, because when it becomes an emergency, that it becomes a problem. So if you do things on a regular basis, it's not a big deal. It's like, oh, I'm getting picked up and I'm going to get a really cool reward. I don't need to panic. Or I'm going to go into the crate. This is cool, right? It's a cool thing. It's a super duper cool thing, right, buddy? Yeah, that's enough. And one other thing that I would really if you really, really, really want to get into the training part of it, from the dog boarding perspective, I see a lot of adult dogs struggle with this, and maybe it's just me, and maybe I'm just special. I find that most dogs are only used to one crate their whole entire life, or they're used to one area. That's it. So what I've been doing with my puppies, since, for the last few years, and it served me well, for the most part, is actually getting them used to going into different crates in the house. Yeah, different crates in the house, different crates. All right, so that's it. I'm gonna go ahead and stop this. I don't think there's any questions or anything, which is cool, because that would be very interesting to try to have on the YouTube channel. I'm gonna see if I can't save this. So I'll just scroll up really quick. I have a new message. Nah, it doesn't look like I've got anything, and that's really okay. But I'm gonna hopefully see if I can't go ahead and get this saved and put this on the, like I said, no. He said, I'll go ahead and help you. I'm like, don't do that. But I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can't save this. Hey, I'm gonna go ahead and save this to the YouTube channel, so hopefully we have like a multi-purpose thing. But I liked how this worked. I liked it much better than using Facebook Live, because that's been difficult. So anyway, hopefully some of you have found this helpful. Have a great rest of your night, and hopefully we'll be doing these more.